Good morning, students. I welcome you all for today's science class. Today, we are going to continue the fourth lesson, that is, what is thermal energy and heat. In the previous class, we have discussed about what is thermal energy, temperature, heat, and one of the ways of heat transfer, that is conduction. Let us have a quick recall about it. Everything around us is made up of extremely small particles called molecules. The molecules that forms an object is different from the molecules that forms another object. But all the molecules show a common feature, that is, all the molecules show movement. So, the sum of energy possessed by all the moving molecules of a substance is called as thermal energy. Next is temperature. Temperature tells us how hot or cold a substance is. That is, either the molecules are moving fast or slow. The temperature tells us the level of thermal energy. Temperature can be measured using a device called thermometer. Next one is heat. Heat is the thermal energy that flows. Heat transfers from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature. The SI unit for measuring heat is joule and the symbol of joule is J. SI unit is nothing but standard international unit. Next one is heat transfer. There are three main ways of heat transfer. They are conduction, convection and radiation. In the last class, we have discussed about conduction. Conduction occurs when two objects and different temperatures are in contact with each other. Today, we are going to learn about what is good conductors and poor conductors of heat, what is insulator, and the other two ways of heat transfer, that is convection and radiation. Let me discuss about it. First is what is good conductors and poor conductors of heat. Okay, students. On a winter morning, both the metals and wood have a lower temperature than our body, right? So, when you touch the metal and wood, the heat energy from our body flows into them. Now, the metal feels colder than the wood because the metal conducts heat energy from our hand much faster than the wood. This is because metals are good conductors of heat and wood, glass, air and plastics are poor conductors of heat. I repeat you once again, students. The metals are good conductors of heat. That is why our heat from the body flows into the metal very quickly when compared to the other materials such as wood, air or plastics, etc. Another important thing is most liquids are poor conductors of heat. Okay, students, let us do an activity. Now go to the kitchen. Observe the utensils that are present in the kitchen. Note down the vessels that are fitted with plastic handles and ask your mom the reason for the fitting of plastic handles. Will you do this activity, children? Okay, let me start the activity. Pause the video and take 5 minutes for your observation and come back. Then I will tell you the answer and you just check it. Have you completed the activity, students? Shall I tell the answer? Okay. The materials that conduct the heat poorly does not transfer the heat well. Such materials are good insulators. Insulator means the substance that does not allow the heat to pass through. This is why many types of metal vessels are fitted with heat insulating plastic handles. Okay, students, can you tell me an example for heat insulator? Air, bricks, mud and grass are the examples of good heat insulators. Have you heard about polar bear? Polar bears live in cold Arctic region and they have thick layer of fur. The fur traps air and forms an excellent heat insulating layer. The layer of trapped air keeps the animals comfortably warm even when the atmospheric temperature drops below minus 20 degrees Celsius. Like this, a house made up of bricks remains cool in summer because bricks are porous and traps air. Have you seen mud houses, children? In desert regions such as Gujarat, people build mud houses with roofs covered with a kind of grass. The mud walls, being highly porous, do not conduct the heat. The roof also does not conduct heat because grass is a poor conductor of heat. Now we are clear about good conductors and poor conductors of heat and the insulators. Next, we move on to convection. Convection is the mode of heat transfer through fluids. Fluid means liquids or gases. Convection is the transfer of heat from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature. Here, the heat transfer occurs by the movement of fluid itself. Next is convection current. We know that when a liquid or a gas is heated, it expands. As a result, the molecules which acquire heat becomes lighter and moves upwards. The other molecules in the surroundings which does not gain heat remains cooler and heavier, and these molecules rushes to take its place and gets heated in turn. This process continues and gives rise to convection current, through which heat energy flows and the entire liquid or gas gets heated. Now, can you understand what is convection current? Through convection current, the heat energy flows and the entire liquid or gas gets heated. Next, we see how this convection current gives rise to breeze in coastal regions. Breeze means a gentle wind. Let us see how this convection current gives rise to breeze in coastal regions. Have you heard about land breeze and sea breeze, students? Okay, tell me, during the daytime, whether the land heats up faster or the sea? I will ask you again. During the daytime, whether the land heats up faster or the sea? We know that during the day, the land heats up faster than the sea. We have already seen that when the molecules gets heated, they become lighter and moves upwards. The same process occurs here. When the land heats up, the air above the land becomes warmer and rises upwards. At the same time, there is cool air above the sea. Now, apply the process of convection current that we have learned before. As the air above the land becomes warmer and moves upwards, the cooler air from above the sea rushes towards the land and takes its place. This results in sea breeze during the day. This is why we feel a gentle breeze near the coastal regions even during the daytime. At night, the opposite happens. During the night, the land cools faster than the sea. Therefore, the air above the sea is warmer than the air above the land. At night, cooler air from the land replaces the warmer air that is present above the sea, thus resulting in a land breeze. Now, we understand that natural convection currents keeps the earth warm. Air from the warmer parts transfers some of the heat to the cold polar regions. Now, are you clear about what is land breeze and sea breeze, children? Next, we are going to discuss about radiation. Radiation. Radiation is a way of heat transfer. The other ways of heat transfer that we learnt earlier are conduction and convection. In both the conduction and convection, there should be a contact between the objects for heat transferring. But in radiation, the radiation is a method of heat transfer that does not need contact between a hotter object and a cooler object. For example, you can feel the heat of the sun even when you are inside your house. Similarly, you can feel the heat of fire from a distance. Thus, heat can flow in the form of waves. The flow of heat in the form of waves is known as radiation. These waves can move through vacuum. What do you mean by vacuum? Vacuum means a space that is entirely devoid of matter, that is emptiness. Thus, heat can be transferred through an empty space by radiation. Let us see an example for this vacuum. Vacuum or thermos flask. The thermos flask is used to maintain the temperature of liquids kept in it. It keeps hot liquids hot or cold liquids cold as it is for a long time. The flask is made up of double-walled glass vessel. Double-walled means two layers. In between these two layers, there should be vacuum. That is, no air should be present in between these two layers. As it is a double-walled glass vessel, the glass being a poor conductor of heat, it reduces the transfer of heat from inside the flask as well as outside of it. We know that heat could be transferred through radiation. Then how the heat transformation is reduced here? Any idea, students? I repeat you once again. Heat could be transferred through radiation. If the heat is transferred, then how the temperature of liquid can be maintained as it is in a thermos flask? The heat that could be transferred through radiation is reduced by silvering the walls of the vacuum flask. This reflects the heat rays either trying to enter the flask from outside or leave the flask from inside. See the picture. This is the outer protective metal cover. This is the spring. In between the two layers is the silver surface which reflects the radiating heat. The vacuum present in between the double wall layer prevents the heat from escaping through convection and conduction. Students, now apply the way of heat transferring through conduction and convection here. So, convection means the transfer of heat through fluids. That is, the vacuum in the thermos flask prevents the escaping of heat from the liquid, that is, the liquid present in the thermos flask. Then the conduction is the presence of metal walls of the thermos flask, and this insulated stopper reduces the conduction. So, today we have learnt about good and poor conductors of heat, insulators, and the remaining two ways of heat transfer, that is convection and radiation. For conductors, we saw few examples, that is metals are good conductors of heat and materials such as air, glass, mud, plastics and liquids are few examples of poor conductors of heat. Next is insulators. The substance that does not allow the heat to pass through are called as good heat insulators. In convection, the heat transfer occurs through fluids, that is liquid or gas. Here, heat flows from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature. In convection current, the molecules which gains heat expands and becomes lighter and moves upwards. Then the other molecules which are cooler and heavier rushes in and gets heated in turn. This continues until the entire liquid or gas gets heated. This convection current gives rise to breeze in coastal regions. Next one is radiation. Radiation is a way of heat transfer. The other two ways of heat transfer, that is conduction and convection, there should be a contact between the objects for heat transferring. But in radiation, it is a method of heat transfer that does not need contact between a hotter object and a cooler object. For this, we have seen the example of thermos flask. Okay students, I hope you all understand today's portion. We will see the remaining portion in the next class. Thank you students.